Greetings, everybody. This is Marcel Williams here again, yet with another talk. Today is Wednesday, the 9th of April, 2025. Trust that you are well and that you're enjoying whatever you're doing at the present time. I've been teaching on the fulfillment of biblical prophecy, but I'm taking again a detour to do another video on Africa. I called this video Side Note 10. You'll remember from the last video that I did, I was talking about West Africa and about the countries there that have had coup d'etats where the military took over. And I was actually saying there's some very positive things that have happened in those coup d'etats. The leader of Burkina Faso, for instance, Traore, is a dynamic leader, a young man, and he's done a lot already in a short period of time to help his people to get developed and to improve the infrastructure of that country, the agriculture and so on. So much of Africa is now getting to admire what he's doing in Africa. But do you know that there was an 18th attempt at his life? There was attempts of actually eliminating him, but he survived, and there was recently an 18th attempt at eliminating him. The reason for this is that it's important for the enemies of Africa and Africans to eliminate him, because if he continues in the way that he's doing and inspiring Africans and inspiring even African governments, then the writing's on the wall for the enemies of Africa. For instance, if he continues like that, there will be no stopping of the awakening of Africa and Africans to the false narratives of the Western powers, mainly the European peoples and the United States of America, where a lot of lies and untruths were perpetuated over decades, perhaps centuries, about how undeveloped Africans are. In fact, you got the term the darkest continent. So the idea is always to keep Africa as the lowest, in the lowest position in the world and amongst the nations of the world. And the whole purpose of this is so to continue to exploit Africa for its raw materials and its human resources. The last video that I talked about, I was focusing on the raw materials, but I also want to add on here now its human resources. In other words, its peoples. In two ways, the African people have been for centuries exploited in terms of cheap labor, even to this day. I've covered and I talked a bit about slavery, and the African Americans got so-called freedom, but in reality, many of them are still burdened with the legacy of slavery in the past. And also on the side of human resources, one would also say that there's skilled Africans in the world today, and they're also being exploited. What's happening in reality is that the governments, the businesses, the companies, they poach all the skilled people from Africa into their digital, the discoveries, research, and so on, and then the people do gravitate and go to the United States of America and Europe, also with their skills, and leave Africa again without those important human resources for the development of their own countries. So just to confirm there that human resources is also added in the list of raw materials where Africa is being exploited even to this day. Do you know, coming back to the issue of the coup d'etat and the attempted elimination of leaders like Traore, you know, whenever there is a visionary leader of melanated skin, dark-skinned person like in Africa, the enemies are very keen to eliminate such a person because, as I explained, they want to actually continue to keep Africans unaware of their potential and their power. In recent decades, just to give you an example, you know, that leader Gaddafi from Libya, who had a pan-African viewpoint, who wanted to unite Africa and bring Africa into, you know, its real, you know, true leadership. He was eliminated by the Western powers. Then there was also Patrice Lamumba, I hope I pronounce his name right, of the Democratic Republic of Congo. He was also very cruelly eliminated. And the list goes on. Chris Hani, I will include in this list, in South Africa. Tomorrow, the 10th, is the anniversary of his assassination. He was a great leader with great potential, and in a sense, he was eliminated because of that potential. There's Steve Biko with black consciousness, and then I also want to include the president of Haiti and the president of Tanzania. I don't have their names, but during the COVID period, they did not cooperate in terms of what was intended, and they want to bring the people aware of what's truly happening, and you know, the superpowers again eliminated them. Some people will disagree with me. They won't see really what this has got to do with the COVID period, but if they research and they look deeply into it and really understand the motivations, the intentions of people being you know, assassinated, and also the circumstances of how they were eliminated, then they would come up with other conclusions and begin to agree with me on this this allegation that I'm making. So Traore, Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, there was an 18th attempt on his life, and they're highly motivated to want to eliminate him, and hence the reason why, you know, Africans in Africa must really pray for the protection of that man, because there's a great potential for unity in Africa and development and awareness coming from him. Generally, people are not very aware of what is happening in this matter. They're going on with their lives as if everything is normal, and their focus is on other issues. The main reason why there's no awareness of this this tendency to eliminate visionary leaders in Africa is because of the mainstream media. The mainstream media chooses to ignore these stories, to keep people in ignorance of that. And the main focus of the mainstream media, and I'm not going to give you a list of the agencies, you can do that for yourself, but basically it's all of them, is to create opinion. They decide for you what your opinion should be. They bring stories and have a slant on the stories to make you believe what they want you to believe. Obviously, they're paid for by governments and certain leaders. And the opinion is always in favor of keeping the status quo. The status quo is, the superiority of a certain race of light melanated skin, and to perpetuate the power of these states that are ruled by these people. Are alert to it. United States of America, Great Britain, France, and Germany, the powers in the West, Canada, etc. And much of what the mainstream media does is based on lies. So thank goodness for social media. I don't say social media is innocent, but there's also lies in social media, propaganda. But at least at present time, people have a choice. They can now decide what they want to read or view in news, and reject what they feel is not for them. In this matter, discernment is very important, so that you can arrive at the truth. When you look at social media, again, all depends on what is in the heart of the person. If a person is wicked, has wicked intentions in their heart, they will believe the lies that the mainstream media gives, as well as what comes up in social media. Discernment is able to distinguish between truth and lies. So I just want to bring that to your attention about the 18th attempt on the life of this leader, the reasons why, and the great potential that lies in, even a military leader that has seized power through a coup d'etat, which is basically illegal, but his people had to be liberated from this domination of corrupt leaders who are put there, placed there as puppets by their Western masters, which is those countries that I mentioned earlier on. So I just want to wish you a great Wednesday going forward.